I am the guy who's 70 years old and still builds Lego. Hi, everybody. Tom Bray since 1954. Welcome to this audio-only podcast since 1954, where I just love to talk about the things that bring joy into my life. And right now, a lot of it is Lego. Lego and my granddaughter. And Lego for my granddaughter. So I have a YouTube channel over on YouTube since 1954, which is a standard YouTube channel. Those of you listening may have found me from that channel. This audio podcast is designed to be audio only, and I get to talk in greater detail about the things that are interesting to me. And right now, as I said, it's all things Lego, just about. So today, in the Lego world, I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about what I mean when I say grandparent investing in Lego. And I also want to talk about the Lion Knight's Castle, which I just finished. And I want to talk about it from the point of view of a senior fan of Lego and a senior builder, and the difficulties I had, the challenges I had with it, and just what I think makes it a great set. But first, I want to just briefly mention to you the microphone that I'm speaking to you through. It's an Electro Voice RE20, which is a venerable broadcasting microphone. It's probably it's probably the most ubiquitous microphone in a radio booth ever, at least in the modern era. And I love it just because of it gives you that kind of nice, warm NPR sound without spending $2,000 for a Neumann microphone, which is what they use. I have it set on a kind of a bass rolled off setting so that it's not big and boomy. And also through my Rode Duo podcasting situation here, I have it set on neutral. So for those of you who are interested in podcasting and you want a microphone, this may be the only microphone you have to buy. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not your $99 microphone. But if you want to make the investment, the Rodecaster series of podcasting decks that record like an all-in-one solution for podcasting have preset microphone settings, and RE20 is in there. RE20, SM7B, and all of the Rode microphones that they make. But, you can go in and just punch the button for RE20 and then select kind of a preset sound. If you want a darker sound, you can hit a broadcast mode or a podcast mode. Like I said, I have it set on neutral. But this is an all-in-one podcasting solution. And I am going to talk about in a future one of these podcasts just why I think that seniors should be podcasting. And I'll probably talk about that next time. But right now, let's stick with Lego. And let's talk first about that Lion Knight's Castle, which I think is probably the most spectacular castle that Lego has put out in a long, long time, and maybe the most spectacular regular issue Lego castle set that we're likely to see for a good long while. There is no more regular castle, theme that they keep putting out sets on, like there is Harry Potter and Star Wars. So we have to kind of play catch as catch can if we're castle lovers. And I took a long time to build this set. I have a YouTube video about it this week where I just described the difficulties I had. I want to go into a little bit more depth on that here. But just the benefits of this set. I would gladly go through these difficulties again for this set. This set was, it's absolutely, well, I overused the word in my YouTube video. It's spectacular. Everything about it is spectacular. The size, it's just spectacular. But I found it a little bit tedious and slow going for me. And I think part of it was just the overwhelming nature of the fact that it was so many pieces. I think it's something like 4,000 pieces. It's huge. It's like 28 bags of Lego. It's huge, but the play value in this set, the minifigs it comes with, It's really, it's a spectacular set. Now, I built it out of the booklets that come with the box. And I must say that I've had trouble keeping track sometimes because it was like building a snowman in a whiteout blizzard. I mean, there was just only in this case, not white, but gray. There's just a sea of gray because it's all gray, mostly gray brick to build a castle because naturally the castle's made out of stone, so it's going to be gray. But I felt a little overwhelmed by just all this gray, constant gray. And if I stopped for a day, I had trouble figuring out where I left off because it was just, which brick where did I leave off? Now, someone suggested to me that I should have used the app, the iPad app, where it's designed for Lego sets, and it allows you to schematically rotate 360 degrees to see exactly where you put a brick, and it keeps track of where you are. And I've used that app before, and I love it. It is spectacular, and I'm not sure why I didn't use it this time. I think perhaps it's because I thought that rather than when you opened up the app for this particular set, rather than having that schematic 360 interactive kind of view of the set, you were really just getting PDFs of the pages out of the book because some sets are like that. So I know I've opened the app before because I built things early on. I've only been building since July of 24. But when I built the El Dorado Fortress, which was one of the first things I built, I used the app, and it had that kind of 3D schematic view of the set, which was really helpful for somebody who hadn't built a lot of Lego and was starting out as a 70-year-old, to be able to turn the model in 3D and see exactly where to put things was immensely helpful, as opposed to just reading out of a paper kind of flat guide. So I did use it early on, and I liked it very much. And I one time got to a set and opened up the app, and all it was PDF shots of each page of the manual, the paper manual. So I thought I might as well use the paper manual. And so I started using the paper manuals, and I must say I've gotten better at using them from practicing using them. And it's never occurred to me now to kind of go back. And I probably should have checked for this Lions Knights Castle. And I'm wondering whether it actually has that kind of 3D elevation thing going for it where you can rotate the pages, or if it's just PDFs of the paper manual. So now I have to go back and check if it was the electronic version that allowed you to rotate and see a 3D image. I'm going to really kick myself because it would have made it a lot more pleasant to build. But somehow or another, I think in the back of my mind, I thought this is just going to be pictures of the paper manual. So maybe I'm wrong. I'm hoping that Lego from now on, with most sets it puts out, is going to use this app. I think they need to also have the paper books because you don't always have access to an electronic app. And there's still value in building off of that paper thing. I mean, as a senior, for my brain, translating it off of a page is a lot more challenging, and it's probably better for me, frankly, because I'm having to activate other parts of my brain to translate 2 dimensions into 3 dimensions rather than being able to rotate and kind of see on a screen a 3-dimensional view. So that was one of the frustrations, the sea of gray. The other one was that, let's face it, even if you don't have arthritis, and I have some slight arthritis in my hands, it's not very bad yet. But even if you don't have arthritis, little parts can be fiddly. And especially when you're putting like tiny little tiles, and there are a lot of places where you're putting those tiny little kind of, wedge of cheese type Lego pieces to make up a bigger part of the build, but it's made up of all these tiny little wedgie pieces. And, it gets hard to manipulate those, especially when they're right next to each other on a flat. And so I had some difficulty with that. I had some difficulty with the thatched roof for that exact reason, because they're tinier parts. They're inserted next to each other in a long line. And I lost track of that several times and had to rebuild it. I dropped a lot of pieces along the way. And so I found that fiddly and frustrating as a senior. Now, it might be fiddly and frustrating for somebody 20 years younger than me. I'm not sure, so let me know. But that was one of the downsides of the set for me. However, as I said in the video this week on YouTube, all of that is forgiven because the set is spectacular. I want to just tell you that it kind of comes in 4 pieces. Now, it's really 2 pieces, but they're hinged so that they would open up, kind of like the old Fisher-Price Little People sets would kind of open up like that. But so those 2 pieces would attach, and then they opened up into kind of 4 sides, so that if you had it all opened up like a dollhouse and it was facing you, you were looking at the outside. I mean, it's gigantic. It takes the almost whole length of a card table. And so it's spectacular to look at. And you can reverse it and then see the backside too, as kind of the dollhouse view of the rooms inside. And there's just so many things to do with this set. There's so much fantasy play you can have. But what I really love about that is that it also has a footprint that's really moderate once it's all closed up. So if it's closed up into 2 pieces, front and back, you have a very compact castle build. And it will fit on a table easily with room for other things, even on a card table size, which is kind of the size I have in the wintertime when I build inside. In the summer, I build in the garage, and I can set up banquet tables. But in the winter, I've just got that. And so I have to be careful about what I display and build. And so this is going to work well because I don't always have to have it open. I can have it closed. The other nice thing about it is it's really in 2 pieces with 2 distinct sides to it, and different towers to the castle on each a piece of it. So you could really use just one piece that opens up, accordions out. You don't have to use both pieces, or you can display them at opposite sides of the table, and it's almost like 2 castles. I mean, there's just such a variety of play that you can do with this design that I can't say enough about it. It's really spectacular. I'm really glad I bought it. I believe it retires this year. There's still time to get it. But if you're a Lego Castle fan and you've been considering this, consider it no more. Get yourself to a Lego store and budget for it and get it if you can. Now, grandparent investing. Grandparent Lego investing. What the heck is this guy talking about? Okay, so first of all, I've got a new granddaughter, and she's absolutely wonderful, as granddaughters tend to be, and grandsons. But I don't have any experience with grandsons. This is my first grandchild, and at 70, I was just glad to get her. I just wish I was 50 in getting her, because it's kind of hard to get up off the floor with her. So it's back to the gym for me to make sure my legs stay strong, and and I got to lift more of that kettlebell so I can start slinging her around while she's as she grows. And I have to tell you, we babysitted yesterday, and today I'm aching. I got aches and pains. I pulled a muscle in my side. So I'm a mess. So I definitely have to hit the gym. That's for sure. Anyway, all of that is also worth it. It's kind of like it's even better than building the Lion's Night Castle. Okay, so you've heard of Lego investing. I know you have, because it's an intriguing thing, And if you love Lego and you hear about this investing thing, you're thinking, well, wow, I got to try that because, wow, I can have my hobby and I can make some money. So let me just give you the nutshell of what standard Lego investing is. And that's the idea that you buy a set and you buy multiple copies of it, especially as it goes on sale. And as it nears retirement, grab as many sets as you can if you think that there will be a demand after it retires. Because, Lego creates the scarcity by retiring sets. So they're helping you out there. And the people who are active Lego investors, they might buy a dozen sets of something they think is going to be a great value. And most of them participate in the Amazon program where you can kind of have your own storefront and you ship things to Amazon to fulfill for you. So it can be delivered to Prime members through their Prime plan. And, there's fees involved with that. So you're calculating the price you pay for a set as compared with how high the market price has to get before you make a profit. So that's Lego investing in its purest form. And there's all kinds of YouTube channels that deal with what they think will be a good investment and blah, blah, blah. And of course, there's no guarantee in any of that, just like there is with any investment. And that's an intriguing idea. The other kind of Lego investing is kind of accidental, and that is that your kid plays with them and you save the boxes and you save the instructions and you bag it up when they're done with it and all the pieces are there and you put it away, And 20 years later, lo and behold, those sets are really popular and you sell them and make some money. And I've heard from people who have financed their first year of their kid's college or bought their 18-year-old a car based on selling the Lego sets they played with 20 years ago. And so that's the kind of accidental Lego investing that is intriguing because those are used sets. They're not sets that are kept in the box so that you can buy them in mint condition on the secondary market because you're a collector and you want a Harry Potter set that's 5 years old. You're buying them used with the idea that, hey, look, somebody's got a 20-year-old, pirate set, and that would be fun to play with. Let me buy that. Or you're buying it for nostalgia reasons. So that's kind of accidental investing where you've really just been a family that's played with Lego that have retained the Lego, and now you're selling it used in good condition with the box and with the manual, and you're making some money off of that. You might not make what you originally paid for it, but in most cases, if it's a popular theme, you probably will. At least that's the way it's been. So that idea really intrigued me because let's face it, I'm 70. I'm not going to become a Lego investor in the standard way. I'm not going to have the Amazon store, and I'm not going to buy 25, Lego sets of a particular set and wait, 10 years because I'm 70. I'm not going to wait till I'm 80 sitting on a bunch of Lego to resell or until I'm 75 or 72. I'm not interested. But I am enjoying building because this is a newfound passion of mine. And so I'm buying sets and I'm building them. And I know that once I have the set, it's going to have to go somewhere after I'm not here anymore. And so the idea is, well, who could it go to? Well, my kids are grown, but I have a grandchild. And these are toys that my granddaughter may very well want to play with because, Lego's the biggest toy company in the world, I think. And Lego's been around since my son was a child. And so it's a good bet that my granddaughter will want to play with Lego in some form. So my grandparent investing is simply that. I'm buying sets that I would like to build, that I'm interested in. But I'm lucky because I'm interested in a lot of stuff. And so I'm not adverse to buying some friend sets. I bought the Wizard of Oz Wicked set, which had, mini dolls and not minifigs, and I loved it. So I'm not adverse to getting those sets, and those sets I'm sure my granddaughter will love. I have 4+ sets that I bought that have been really fun for me to build, and I bought them for me, but I also bought them with the idea that these will be great sets for my granddaughter. So and I do buy sets that are aimed more towards adults. The Disney Castle was really an adult set. It's huge, but I mean, it's a Disney Castle. So come on, what little girl is not going to want to play with a Disney Castle or a regular castle like this Lion Knight's castle, for example? What little girl wouldn't want to play with that? So, and a pirate ship, etc. So I think, at first I was concerned with what kind of sets will my granddaughter like, and the answer is nobody knows. Nobody knows what your kid will like, and it could sometimes surprise you. For example, I never would have dreamed in a billion years that any kid of 10 years old would be eager to buy a Lego set that was one of those botanical sets and put together a cactus made out of plastic pieces. The idea never crossed my mind. And yet, I have a cousin who has two boys in, 10, 12 years, around in there. And one of them loves Star Wars, which you might expect. And then another one really loves those botanical sets. And I think that's just so cool because it's not what you would expect. And I've heard from, my supporters who listen to and watch my YouTube channel say that, they have girls in their households, nieces or daughters or granddaughters who don't like playing with the mini doll sets like the Friend sets. They love the regular minifigs, so they buy the city sets and things like that. So, or the jungle adventure sets. So you just don't know. So I'm just really happy that I'm buying an different eclectic sets, although my theme of choice is the castle theme because I just enjoy it so much. I have bought pirate sets and I have bought some city sets and I hope to do more of that. I hope to buy more. Actually, I hope to buy more city space sets. My son grew up on the Lego space theme when it was an actual separate theme. And I'm really jazzed about the idea of adding some space sets to my collection and building them. They have such cool city space sets. I also like that jungle and adventure kind of theme, with the gorilla and all of that. The red panda. Some of those sets look really, really fun. And the undersea adventure sets. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that's available that's not castle themed that I think my granddaughter would like. But that's the idea behind grandparent investing. And it's really basically this, to boil it down in a nutshell. It's I'm buying sets that appeal to me to build, but with the idea that in the back of my mind, my granddaughter may enjoy playing with them someday. And so therefore I'm keeping the boxes. When I'm done with them, I disassemble them, put them in bags, and with the manual, and I store them away. And someday, soon, I hope, and within another year or so, we'll be playing with Duplo because I have some of those sets in reserve that are unbuilt, except for the fire engine. I did open the Duplo fire engine because I had to see how the lights flashed and what the siren sounded like. But then I put it right back in the box. So I do have those sets that are unassembled, and I did buy some Friend sets that looked really cool that I have not put together. I just, it's okay for me not to put them together. I have them in the box, and they're kind of in reserve. So that's grandparent investing Lego style, at least me Lego style. I'm curious to know if anybody else does this. Are you a grandparent, and do you buy Lego with the idea that your grandchildren will play with it? If not now, then someday. If you have grandkids who are actively playing with Lego, then that makes sense. I'm just curious if there's anybody who's buying it for a really young child and maybe even building themselves, doing what I'm doing, or even a parent. Are you like me? And when your son was born, you immediately ran out and bought an electric train set. because, your kid's going to need an electric tray. Well, really, you just wanted to play with it. That was me. And, there's a lot of that going on right here, which is fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Let me know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not and you're listening to this in a regular podcast form, you can email me at since1954podcast@gmail.com. Since 1954, that's spelled out like the number. Since 1954, let me try that again. Since 1954 podcast@gmail.com. That's the email address, and I'd be happy to get your comment. Well, that's it for now. Next week, I think I will talk about podcasting and why I think it's a really good idea for seniors to do it, especially grandparents. But I think it's a good idea for parents, too, especially if your kids are little or if your kids are grown and kind of out of the nest and you're empty nesters. I think it's really valuable for family history to have a podcast, and I can take you through a really easy way for you to do that, especially as a senior. Until next time, this is Tom Bray, since 1954. Thank you so much. We go to our ticker tape direct from the newsroom. We'll see you again. Bye. Thank you.